Al, did you want to get us started with a question for George?
Well, George, so much went right today. Are you amazed at how well this has all been rolling on, or is it all just careful planning that's put it all into place?
There's a lot of planning that goes into it, but like anything, I think they can go out the window pretty quickly too. And yeah, as well as we finished that game, at 1 for 50 after the first 6, you probably would have said that the momentum was all going India's way. So for us to be able to pull that back as emphatically as we did, I thought was really pleasing. And as has been mentioned, particularly the form of some of our younger quicks and absolutely the way that they executed their plans was very good.
Is that the sort of win that you think might send a few tremors through the rest of the field, and especially South Africa, given, I guess, the manner of their defeat tonight?
I'm not sure if it'll send tremors through I mean, it was a great win, but in terms of just where it sets us up for the tournament, it puts South Africa under pressure because they know that they need to win their next 2, whereas I guess we have that buffer, so to speak. Having said that, I mean, I don't think you get an easy game in this competition. So the most pleasing thing for us is we continued to improve on our first 2 games, and particularly some of the things that came out of that West Indies game for us to come out and nail the things that we talked about, and particularly, as I said, in our bowling performance, I thought that was the most pleasing thing. So if we continue to play as consistently as we have done, I think that makes it hard for other teams.
Being undefeated in the tournament so far, how would your team cope up with the pressure that will arise for the next couple of games?
Sorry,
Being undefeated in the tournament so far, how would your guys cope up with the pressure for the upcoming game?
I don't think it changes much for the next game. I mean, our situation hasn't changed. We still need to win. You need to win 2 out of your 3 in the Super 8. So the pressure that we have is basically internal, the expectation that we have and where we think we can finish in this tournament. But it's very pleasing the way we've played in each of our 3 games, that's for sure. And the challenge that we set at the start of the tournament wasn't, I think our best cricket has always been very, very good. The challenge in 2020 has been what comes on the other side of that, and the gap, I guess, between our best and our worst cricket. And that's been a pleasing thing for me, is we've been really consistent so far.
Despite talking about the buffer that you talked about, still this game against South Africa, if you win, you have 1 foot into the semis, so it's really a crucial game for you as well.
Yeah, it doesn't change, that's right. And as pleasing as tonight was, we hit Sunday with exactly the same mindset. It doesn't really change anything in that regard. We've got to come out and play, and I still think South Africa are an absolutely outstanding team. You go through it, I don't think there's really a weakness there. So for us to defeat them, we've got to come out and play a similar game to tonight.
It must be great to see all your bowling plans come off. It was interesting to see Pat Cummins, the way you bowled Pat Cummins, 4 overs, 4 different spells, in spite of him taking wicket in each of them. What's the idea behind that?
Well, I'm not sure there was the plan to have him in 4 different spells. That's just the way it worked out. But certainly, one of the things that came out of that West Indies game was we just felt we hadn't quite planned as well as we could have done. So that was a real focus for this game, to absolutely nail our plans to the Indian batsmen, and I think we did that. As I said, I don't think we started quite as well as we could have, and one of the reasons may have been that we saved up one of Pat's overs there and tried to bowl him through the middle a bit more. But it was nice to see a little bit of variation. I thought it was good to see Glenn Maxwell open the bowling for us. I think that's a nice option to have up your sleeve going further into the tournament, and start to see a bit more versatility. Dan Christensen to bowl deeper into the innings as well. So it's good to see that we've got that flexibility through our bowlers.
George, you and Mickey were looking for Watto to have a big influence in each game. How's that going for you? And do you think he can keep having such an impact all the way through the tournament, or has he just had 3 games out of the box?
Well, he's been outstanding. That's a no-brainer. Whether he can continue or not, I don't know. You're forecasting, but you would think the way he plays and the way I know what I prepares, that there's no reason why he couldn't. And you talk to him, you know the way he prepares for cricket. I think he's really set himself to be the man of the tournament, to be the person that leads Australia as far as he can in this tournament. So I think he's, when you see the way that he plays this format of the game, he's almost the complete cricketer.
George, how big a role do you see the UAE series as having played in these 3 wins?
The who, sorry?
The UAE series against Pakistan. How much has that helped you?
I was really happy with it because I think one of the biggest challenges we've had in Australia is we haven't been able to spend much time together as a group, and when we have, we tend to swap our team around a lot. So we've played I'm not sure we've even changed our team once since the start of those T20s in the UAE. So we've been very consistent in terms of the side we've put out, the structure we have, where guys are playing. So as far as nutting out the roles that they have within the team and knowing exactly where they fit, where their teammates fit, what they're going to be doing in any part of the game, that to me is the most crucial thing. As a group, those games were really important for us.
Pat Cummins' dismissal of Kohli, the way he sort of set him up with the short one and then softened him up and then bowled another short one to him, and the rest of that over was really impressive as well. Have you ever known a young quick of that age and experience, I suppose, to sort of think through and over the way he does and really try to set...
I'm trying to remember how he got Kohli out.
Oh, skied to mid-off, I think.
Oh, right. No, well, Pat's a weird one because he's intelligent, and you don't get many intelligent fast bowlers, do you, for starters, and particularly at 19. He is a bit different. He's one of the guys. I actually spoke to him after that West Indies game and probably felt like I was babying him a bit too much. So this game I gave him a licence to bowl to his plans a lot more. Purely for that reason. He is a good thinker, he's got great execution, he's got good skills, so he's someone that in a short space of time you learn to trust that he's going to execute exactly what the team needs. And it was, I think it's a nice thing to be able to see him bowl those 3 through the middle for us tonight, because he is someone who, when the key batsmen do come in, he can shake them up. He's got that bit of extra pace, but on the flip side of that, pace is only good if you're bowling in the right areas, and that was probably the most pleasing thing tonight, was his control and his use of his change-ups.
A lot of people think that spinners are going to do the job here. Do you think that the medium paces also have a big job on your side?
Yeah, well, I don't think you can get away with many weak overs in this competition. Teams will certainly be all over you if they think that there's going to be a weak set of 4 overs or a weak bowler to target. So medium paces will certainly have an impact. I still think that as the tournament progresses, spinners will probably play more of a role. But having said that, if your best bowlers are quick bowlers, you still bowl your best bowlers. So they just have to find ways to adapt. And even as the wicket does turn a little more, I still think quicks will be able to have an impact. So I guess it's getting that balance right. We've got some very good quicks, and I think our spinners are doing a good job. Whether later on the track we need to start looking at using Xavier as well, I guess that's something we'll look at. But on the strength of our last 3 games, you'd have to say this team's going reasonably well.
George, the short ball's been a really important part of your arsenal through this series so far, but the South Africans have brought up on pace. Do you continue with those same plans against South Africa, or do you have a rethink because you're coming up against a team that plays the game differently to the subcontinental teams in particular? Yeah,
it's an interesting game on that front, and I guess in the way the 2 teams set up and how they play, they're probably quite similar. So, we'll have to address that. Go away and have a look and see who does play the pull shot well and who doesn't, and where they do like to score. For me, the pleasing thing about the way we played tonight was there was real versatility. I actually thought we when we did use it, we were pretty smart about how we used it, and we meant it. So whether you pull or hook or not, I think if a bowler, particularly with some of the guys we've got with a bit of pace, if they're bowling a bounce that's on the money, it's still going to be a pretty hard ball to get away.